Can a single glass of juice turn a calm, luxurious neighborhood into a chaotic battlefield of fear and tension? In the pristine hallways of a prestigious HOA community, everything was ordered, polished, and serene. Marble floors gleamed under the soft glow of overhead lights, reflecting perfectly arranged artwork and potted plants along the walls. Neighbors strolled politely, exchanging nods and quiet hellos, completely unaware that a storm of fury was about to erupt. Karen, a sharply dressed, entitled woman, carried a tray filled with freshly squeezed orange juice. Her heels clicked rhythmically against the marble, commanding attention, her presence sharp, confident, and unapproachable. Distracted by a phone call, her heel slipped slightly on the polished floor inlay. The tray tilted violently. A glass of orange juice soared through the air, crashing onto the floor with a shattering sound that echoed sharply along the hallway. The liquid splattered across the marble in a glowing orange puddle, expanding faster than anyone could react. Karen's expression flickered from momentary shock to explosive rage in an instant. "Who did this?" she screamed, her voice slicing through the corridor like a whip. Neighbors froze mid-step, some clutching grocery bags, others instinctively shielding children. A faint, trembling apology emerged from an older woman. I'm so sorry. It was an accident." But Karen advanced aggressively, shoving her slightly, causing her to stumble back. The murmurs of fear and tension rippled through the hallway like a rising tide. Some neighbors instinctively pulled out phones to film, while others whispered warnings to each other, unsure how to act. The orange juice puddle shimmered ominously under the lights, a glowing symbol of the chaos erupting. A man stepped forward to intervene, raising his hands cautiously, but Karen's glare was instantaneous, forcing him back. Every eye in the hallway tracked her movements, every person aware that this confrontation could escalate further at any moment. Karen shoved another neighbor attempting to shield a small child. Gasps and startled cries filled the corridor. The sound of heels clicking on the wet marble combined with shouts, sliding footsteps, and the splattering juice, creating a symphony of suspense and chaos. Luxury clashed with raw human fear. The perfect walls, artwork, and plants became silent witnesses to a battle fueled by one woman's uncontrollable fury. Neighbors whispered strategies, filmed frantically, or tried to retreat, but Karen's dominance over the hallway was undeniable. Every movement amplified tension. She gestured wildly, voice high-pitched and sharp, eyes flashing with unrelenting anger. The puddle of juice reflected the dramatic confrontation, glowing almost as if alive, marking the epicenter of suspense. Each second stretched longer, filled with anticipation and dread. Every step by Karen or a neighbor, every near fall, and every shouted word intensified the feeling of impending disaster. Children clutched their parents, eyes wide with fear, while adults weighed the risk of intervening against the chaos surrounding them. Karen's presence was suffocating, radiating authority and danger simultaneously. A neighbor slipped slightly on the wet marble, narrowly avoiding a fall, his heart racing as Karen swung toward him. Another adult pushed forward to protect the child, only to be shoved back, staggering dangerously. The hallway had become a stage for conflict, suspense, and tension. Every detail mattered. The reflections in the marble, the shimmering orange juice, the echo of screams and footsteps, and the shifting expressions of terrified neighbors. Karen's fury was cinematic, explosive, and unstoppable in the moment, creating a dramatic tableau of chaos that would be remembered by everyone present. Time seemed suspended as the intensity of the confrontation grew. The luxurious hallway had transformed into a battlefield of fear, rage, and anticipation. The spilled juice symbolized more than a simple accident. It was the catalyst for conflict, a visual representation of uncontrolled anger spreading through a community. Neighbors whispered urgently, some urging calm, others preparing to defend themselves or their loved ones. Karen's movements were precise yet wild, deliberate yet unpredictable, keeping everyone on edge. She advanced toward a small group, forcing them backward, their fear palpable. The tension was thick, almost tangible, filling every corner of the corridor. The clash of polished shoes on wet marble, the gasps and the cries of fear created an atmosphere charged with suspense. Every glance at the glowing orange puddle reminded neighbors that one mistake, one slip, one misjudgment could escalate the situation further. The storm of chaos had arrived, unrelenting, dramatic, and unforgettable, leaving everyone present questioning what might happen next and how such a small accident could unleash such a powerful. What happens when fury escalates beyond control, consuming everyone in its path? Karen's rage, ignited by a single spilled glass of juice, had transformed the once orderly hallway into a chaotic battlefield. The orange juice puddle gleamed ominously under the overhead lights, reflecting every movement, every shout, and every tense glance. Neighbors scrambled to protect children, shield themselves, or retreat, but Karen's aggression intensified with each passing second. One man tried to guide a child to safety, only to be shoved violently, teetering on the slick marble. Another neighbor lunged to restrain her, but Karen's swift and forceful movements sent him staggering backward. Every motion, every shove, every shout contributed to a symphony of fear, tension, and suspense. The luxurious decor, the gleaming marble floors, priceless artwork, and carefully placed plants suddenly seemed hostile, mirroring the chaos that had overtaken the hallway. Karen's face was contorted with fury. Each line radiated impatience, dominance, and danger. Her voice, shrill and cutting, amplified every heartbeat and gasping breath of those around her. Shouts, cries, and sliding footsteps echoed endlessly through the corridor. Neighbors tried to restrain her together, coordinating cautiously, but Karen resisted fiercely, swinging her arms and shoving anyone in her path. Children clung tightly to parents, some whispering terrified prayers, while others captured the chaos on their phones as evidence of the storm unfolding. Every second stretched, suspense intensifying as tension filled the air. Karen's overwhelming presence left the neighbors frozen in fear, unsure who could intervene or whether anyone could stop her fury. Another neighbor was shoved violently, creating a chain reaction of near falls and terrified cries. The pristine hall, once a symbol of order and luxury, now bore visible marks of chaos. Footprints slipping on wet marble, streaks of orange juice, and echoes of panic. The moment felt almost surreal, cinematic, like a scene frozen in time, every movement and sound magnified in intensity. Time seemed to stretch indefinitely as each neighbor calculated their next move, anticipating potential danger with every heartbeat. Finally, HOA security arrived, rushing to control the situation. Karen struggled violently, pushing and shouting, but the officers moved with practiced efficiency, restraining her without further escalation. Neighbors exhaled deeply, relief washing over them, yet the echoes of the fight, the spilled juice, and Karen's unrelenting fury remained vivid in their memories. The polished floors, gleaming walls, and artwork silently recorded the confrontation. The community now understood how a seemingly small accident, a spilled glass of juice, could escalate into uncontrollable rage and widespread fear. Karen's name became synonymous with chaos, entitlement, and confrontation, while the glowing puddle of juice remained a lasting emblem of that day's drama. Even as order returned, the tension lingered like a shadow, reminding everyone of how swiftly calm could transform into terror when one person's anger went unchecked. The incident became a cautionary tale, retold repeatedly, a vivid reminder of the consequences of entitlement, fury, and unpredictability. Every glance down the hallway brought back the memories, the shrieks, the shoves, the chaotic sprint of feet across slippery marble, and the palpable suspense that gripped every neighbor in those intense moments. The story of that day would linger in conversations, social media posts, and personal recollections, immortalizing the dramatic fury unleashed by a single spilled glass of orange juice. The community would never forget the fear, suspense, or cinematic intensity of that unforgettable incident.